We have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we are bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. I am so excited to have with us today Spencer Combs. How are you, Spencer?
I would say better than I deserve, but doing well. Thank you.
Well, so glad that you are here today. And where are you located? Because I know I'm having the honor of meeting you through Pastor Clarissa Blissett, but I don't know where you're located. Tell us.
I live in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. So you're enjoying the sunshine all the time for the most part.
Well, with the occasional rain every afternoon. Now you're in Charlotte, though, correct?
I'm in Charlotte. Yes.
Yeah. All of my wife's family is in Charlotte, so I'm up there quite often.
Okay. And what's your wife's name?
Amy Combs.
Amy Combs. I love the last name Combs. I was like, that sounds kind of regal. Spencer Combs. It sounds like some kind of like, you know how people create these stage names that they will create just for performances. Yours is your real name, correct?
Oh, it's my real name. We actually did a little genealogy and found out that I was related to a Sir Richard Combs all the way back in 1600. So there's some royalty back there, but I don't know if I'm living up to the name, but I'm doing my best.
Well, I'm sure you're doing quite great at representing your family legacy, that's for sure. Listen, everybody, as you grab your virtual seats, go ahead and tag your friends and invite everybody to be a part of today's discussion. We're going to be talking about momentum and mastery. And I think that that's some good combination going on there. Momentum, which means we know it's about time to take off. It's getting some momentum. It's going. Momentum, right? But then mastery, how we are going to be able to really progress and be able to accomplish great things and master the art of whatever it is that we're looking to succeed at, right? That's my own nutshell. That is not Spencer Combs' wording at all. I'm just making up my own theory. Am I on target a little bit?
You are, yes, you are on target. Everybody kind of defines it different ways, and that's kind of the reason we wrote it the way we did.
Good. Very good. So listen, as you all have questions throughout today's discussion, pop them over in the comments section. I do see different ones of you that come on. I want to acknowledge you all, but it's interesting because unless you actually, type your comments or anything, I don't always get to see your name. So please make sure you comment if you would like for me to formally recognize you. Other than that, I'm having to look down at my phone the whole time and I don't want to do that. So just make sure you take a moment and comment, and I will say hello to you, okay? Listen, our guest today, Spencer Combs, is an author, a speaker, and a coach. He's a renowned personal strategist, leadership coach, and the visionary behind the Momentum and Mastery Framework. With over 2 decades of experience in transforming distressed, I'm talking about like down and out businesses, they are now in thriving enterprise status. Spencer has dedicated his career to helping business leaders unlock their full potential and achieve unshakable progress. So his journey is mind-blowing, and all of his topics that he speaks about, we're going to learn more about him throughout today's episode without me just, reading all of his details. Then you won't have anything to say. So welcome, Spencer Combs, to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Yeah, the journey has been an interesting one, that's for sure, which is, of course, allows me to pour out from the overflow. So that's why I do what I do. I was given the path I was given, and I took the path I'm taking through guidance, if you will.
When you're talking about taking the path that you've taken, you had to go back a little bit to say, where were you when you made the decision that you had to even take this type of path?
Well, personal development, let me start with this. I personally believe that professional development, right? Professional success always comes on the backside of personal development. or personal success. Because in the end of the day, businesses don't actually grow. People do. I also would tell you that, you know, businesses don't compete. Their leaders are the ones that are competing. And so their teams are the ones that's competing. So it's the people that matter. And if you want to really see any kind of progress and go from distress to progress, you're going to have to look into the people first and really get them shining, going from absolute drift and all the way up into progress. So that's what the frameworks are all about. There's a lot of terms and things I throw out all the time. But this is really a discussion around helping people grow and get the most out of themselves, and then in turn, create the professional growth that they want to have.
I knew I liked you right from the start. Well, I actually love everybody, so I 100% already love you too, and love your spirit. I'm excited about everything that you're going to be talking about here today. And how many of you all agree with that? It's not about a business growing per se, but it's about people. It's not about a business competing against another business, but it's about these people that are competing against each other. So everything is made up of people. I see you, Jamie, and thank you so much for your comment and being here today as well. Okay, so this is good. So when you Spencer started doing this, it had to come from somewhere. Were you in a company and decided that you're going to step out into this endeavor? What was happening in your life that made this become such a big passion for you?
Well, let's rewind the clock for a little bit.
Growing up, all the way back.
Right, yeah, growing up, right? And I mentioned this to you, by the way, earlier, that I was in a very strong matriarchal environment. So women, lots of women. I would imagine, because you're connected to the Women's Network and all the things that you do, there's probably going to be a lot of women that see this. Before you see this bald-headed white dude with a beard and you go, let me get out of here, he's got nothing for me. Let me just point something out to you. I have 3 daughters. I'm married. I have a granddaughter, right, with another one on the way, another grandchild on the way. We don't know if it's a boy or girl yet, by the way. So stay tuned on that one. We're going to find out, right? Right. But I also grew up in very strong matriarchal environments. My grandmothers were very strong individuals in my childhood. Grandfathers had some men here and there, but for the most part, women are what raised me, which I think in part allows me to have a little bit of an empathy or a different perspective than most men. And yet at the same time, I can tell you, I know how to change my oil, and I know how to do manly things around the house. And I still like to hunt, and I still like to, do the things that men like to do, have a cigar and so on. But the point I'm getting at, though, is that I came from a very strong matriarchal environment. And so my mother specifically was very entrepreneurial. And so I went to work with her when I was like 7 years old. I remember sweeping floors, and I actually talk about that in the book. But we, all through my childhood, I had also seen, though, at the same time, a lot of, the right word would be dysfunctional, even though it's kind of an overused word.
Right.
I think a lot of people get concerned. They look back at their childhood, like, oh, my life, my family, and everything was so messed up. I don't know too many people nowadays that can look back at their childhood and go, oh, we had the perfect family.
Oh, no.
Right.
I'm not sure of any that exist at that level. No.
What it did do for me, though, because I had seen some very dark things in different people throughout my childhood, it caused me to get really, really good at learning and paying attention to other people's behaviors. It was a protection thing for myself. And as I got into adulthood, I went on to Bible college. That's always a fun topic. Bible college, to a very legalistic Bible school, right? Okay. I came out of that world at some point, but I did go to Bible college, and now people laugh at me because I'm that cussing preacher, because they just see, it's like, this guy, what? But I had this foundation of service, wanting to do high level of talent, do things for other people. And somewhere along the way, after my first marriage, I got married, someone introduced me into the real estate business.
Okay.
And so with that, they also introduced me to a lot of personal development. And that's where I began to realize, because I was super focused on what we call in the book, the mechanics, how to build a business, right? And there are three primary things we talk about in the book. And my story is weaved through it because I think most people do it this way. Early in my life, I was super focused on how, like, what's the mechanics? What's the process? How do I build a business? What do I need to do? Right. Well, mechanics is only 1/3 of the whole formula. You also have to have mindset. And I did rather well. We ended up with a large team of people in Florida, South Florida, Southwest Florida, and grew really, really big. But then I ended up facing a divorce, some other challenges there, bankruptcy. I went everything I had living, waterfront, BMW 745, all of that got condensed down into living in a house, a double wide mobile home on a dirt road in South Carolina. Right. Everything I owned went into an 8x10 container. And I realized that I had to do something about mindset. Mm-hmm. So mechanics, mindset. And so I went through a whole journey of learning about mindset. And at this point now I have, my NLP master certification. I have all these different things that has helped me really make changes in people's mind, right? It's a big part of what we do. The latter half of this formula then ended up with a discussion around what moves you, what drives you. And that's where the whole movement conversation comes in. So mindset, where we have mechanics, mindset, and then movement.
And somebody type that. Somebody type that in the comment section. You have the mechanics, mindset, and what drives you. And the mechanics, we're gonna break some of these things down as we continue to talk, but are you going to share more about your backstory before I ask you questions? Because I don't want to interrupt until you're done with some of your backstory.
The backstory really is, as far as how I got into what I do now, obviously, when I was going through my divorce and so on, I also had to keep working. And a lot of real estate agents and business owners started coming to me saying, how did you do what you did down in Florida? And so I started getting paid to help people grow their business. And what I realized is that I could be speaking to two people in the exact same room. They could hear the exact same message, right? One of them has all the resources possible, and they take the information and do nothing. The other one would take that information, have no resources. They absolutely, the world's like up against them. And for some reason, somehow they were the one to take it and run with it. We've all had these situations.
That's right.
And so that intrigued me even further because I recognized the mindset, mechanics, the movement, all these pieces had to come together. But what I had to figure out, and that's what we've done over the last 20 years, is the relationship between those three things.
Okay.
Because when you don't have all three, you end up with one of four patterns. So I can promise you, Kim, I'll tell you this. People on here right now are in one of four places, or they're moving in one of these four places. Okay.
And what are they? Go ahead.
It's just it's a representation, by the way, of how your relationship is to these three things of mindset, mechanics, and movement. Okay. Mm-hmm. You have the frustrated crowd.
Okay.
Some of you guys are frustrated.
Yeah, I'll just type it right in here. I'm over here handwriting my notes, but I'll type it here. Frustrated. So you have frustration category.
The frustrated group are those of you that have the mindset. You see it's possible. You know it's possible, and you've got movement. Like you're taking action. All right. This is that individual that I just talked to yesterday. Young man in Columbia, South Carolina. He's a real estate agent. He's hustling furniture and he's doing real estate. He's working his way through, and deeply spiritual in terms of his roots, right? He's a praying man. When I spoke to him and I said, what's your plan for the rest of the year? What do you want to see happen here?
Right.
He's like, well, I just need to keep the faith.
Keep what?
Keep the faith.
Okay.
Well, that's a pretty canned answer, honestly. I think some of us have that as a knee-jerk reaction to say, I just need to maintain faithfulness,
that's right.
Keep moving, right? Take action and maintain my faith. Okay. That is someone who has both the mindset and the movement. But what he's missing is mechanics. And it's a recipe for frustration. Because you're so heavenly minded, you're no earthly good.
So missing the mechanics. You're missing the mechanics.
If you're frustrated, you're probably missing mechanics. Like, we need to break it down. Like, what's the process? Some people are just not naturally interested in the process, right? Spencer, I want to open up this brick and mortar store. Some people don't want to, right? They get frustrated because they won't engage in the mechanics.
That's right.
The other
Thank you so much, Mr. H. He's typing the points over there. I see you. Thank you for participating. And so number one is the frustrated group. Have the mindset to know it is possible, but missing the mechanics. And with that missing component, you're saying that they are more spiritual, but not necessarily interested in infusing the everyday tasks that have to be done.
The practical pieces, the pragmatic parts that actually move your business forward, or even your personal life forward.
That's right.
I could believe that I could, be healthier, but until I do the things necessary, I could say I'm going to go out here and I'll put it this way. Tony Robbins says it this way: you could run east for as long as you want, but you'll never find the sunset.
And why is that? Why is that?
The mechanics aren't proper. You can have all the activity you want, and you have all the ambition and the focus and everything necessary but you're doing it wrong. Turn around and go the other way, and boom, you get better results.
That's good.
So it's a frustration, though, comes because you're taking action, but you're just not seeing the result, right? You're not getting where you want to go. You're more rhetoric than you are result.
So what's number two? The
second group of people are probably going to be that burnout crowd. The burnout crowd knows what they're doing. They're taking action. They're probably in a rut. They probably keep hitting a glass ceiling. They just can't seem to find a way to get to the next level. So they're burning out. The burnout pattern is a common pattern for people who have the mechanics. We've always done it this way. This is what's always gotten me the result. I take action. I make it happen. But they can't get to the next level. And the reason for that is because they're missing mindset.
Wow. Okay. They take action and make it happen, but missing mindset. Oh, okay. So you have a whole process here. Okay.
We just getting started.
Everybody, make sure you make note of this. What did you say?
I said, we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah. We have a whole hour together here. Number two is the burnout group. Can't find a way to get to the next level. You know how to take action. You know how to make things happen, but they're still missing of the mindset. And so when you say missing the mindset piece, what does that look like? How would they ever get that?
We can get down into it. There's 5 building blocks.
Oh, okay. No, don't go there yet. All we're gonna do right now.
We start getting into that, it'll throw everybody off. Let's make sure everybody knows where they're at.
The 3 groups of frustration right now. Okay.
So one is frustration. 3 groups. We got frustrated crowd. We've got the burnout crowd. Third crowd would be the, lack of a better word, stagnant. They're just people that just kind of like, I'm not feeling it, man. You can't seem to get yourself engaged for anything. The stagnant crowd has the mindset, they have the mechanics typically, but they're just not engaged in the movement piece.
Can't get engaged in the movement.
Right. Can't get in gear. And so they don't know how to get in gear. They're perpetually drifting
into gear. This is so good. I'm typing if y'all are like seeing me look down. So stagnant group can't get engaged in the movement part of life, can't get into gear. So what are they missing? What piece are they missing?
They're missing movement, right? Now, the movement piece is completely encapsulated in the book on the section of momentum. When I'm talking about momentum, it's all about movement. It's all about how to go from drift to drive. We can break that down in a few minutes, but this is when people, what I have to do is introduce them to understand kind of where am I at right now? It's really going to be hard for me to clarify where I'm going. And also I would say to you, most business people don't have the time to shoot in the dark and just try to do everything. No. They really just need to get down to business and say, where my check engine light is on. What is it telling me? Right? What part of the business, what part of my life is not operating at its full capacity? Is it mindset? Is it mechanics? Or is it movement? And then we break it down from there. If you go through the book, it'll break it down. This is how you do all those things and which one you need to focus on.
That's right. That's great.
This is why I talk about the 4 categories, because it gives you a relationship as to where you are in reference to this. And I'll point out too that there are some people that they're feeling different things in different parts of their life. You might be excelling in business, or you're excelling in your sales, but not your delivery, or you're doing really well with your health, but you're not doing that well with relationships. So you may feel frustrated with one area and feel burned out in another.
And you know what? That goes along with what you were asking me backstage. I said, no, just ask me that when we go live. So ask your question right quick, because what you just said actually goes on the line.
For everyone that's curious, by the way, I still remember there's a 4th group that I want to get to, but I asked Kim earlier the question before we got on board: what is bringing balance to the world? What does balance actually mean to you? And so she said, let's talk about that on the show. So go ahead, Kim, tell me, what does balance mean? Because you never answered.
Well, what it means to me is that I personally believe that we all have different circumstances and situations that we encounter, and sometimes it's by choice and sometimes it's by force. But at the end of the day, there are things that we can do to make sure that we're getting to the other side of our mountains and in this journey, in my opinion, called life. So there are times when we are looking like we may be out of balance, going along with the comment you just made, but really we're not out of balance. We're just at a specific season in time of our lives that may look to others outside looking on like, what is this? She's not the balance, or he's not the balance, and he's out of sync. No, you're exactly where God has for you to be at that particular moment and season in your life. So don't worry about what it looks like to other people. Do what you know is working for you and your family, in your circumstances and in your situations. So to me, when we bring balance to the world, we're providing missing pieces of a puzzle that might be missing in another person's life by bringing guests on like you to fill in those pieces. That's what I believe.
Beautiful. Can I expand on that with you?
Please help.
I got a whole thing about balance. That's why I asked the question. I wanted to know if we were on the same page. Balance, I think most people, by the way, they look at balance, they talk about life balance, but they're talking about balance in the moment.
Right. That's
life is not measured by what happens in this moment. No. Life is measured in what happens through seasons. You just use that word, right? Yeah. So this season might be different than the next season. Well, what are those seasons? What do we want to call that? Well, life and anything with growth has what we call stress and recovery. Mm-hmm. It's a rhythm. That's how we create energy, right? So stress and recovery. Here's what I know, Kim. If you stay in stress all the time, life will find a way to put you into recovery.
You better believe it.
Whether it's a sickness, whether it's something's going to force you into recovery. Meanwhile, the majority of Americans, specifically those that are, I can't speak for the rest of the world. Even though I was born in Naples, Italy, my mother's side of the family is all from Italy, but I know Americans, the ones I interact with a lot with out here in the public, they're constantly in a state of recovery, right? They're constantly in a state of recovery. Life will put you into stress. Don't pay your bills. Find out how long you're going to get stressed.
You're going to have some significant stress right at that moment.
Right. Yeah, Mr. H just pointed out that, Jesus maintained his level of energy because he would go away from the people.
That's right.
He would take time away, right? He would go and do the things necessary to recharge his own batteries.
That's right.
Which we're going to talk about batteries in a second. Let me get that 4th category. Can I do that?
Absolutely. Let's go ahead. Number 4.
All right. So real fast, just to remind everybody, number 1 was frustration, which is you're missing mechanics. Number 2 was burnout. You're missing the mindset. Number 3 is stagnation. You're missing the movement, taking action, right? Number 4 is impatience.
Impatience. Woo-hoo. That right
Some
there,
of you guys
might be a preacher over there. I don't know what's going on with your spit.
I came from a school of some very hardcore preaching, so it's not uncommon for me to get wound up, get going. But here's the thing I want you to know. Impatience is what happens when you are clicking on all 3 and you're here because you're looking for that competitive edge. You want to know how to take it and go deeper, go farther, go stronger, right? How do I take this information, Spencer, and go even better? Because I do have the mindset. I do have the mechanics. I am taking action. I just want to go even faster. How do I do that? Well, if you're feeling impatient, then put that in your, what I call the disturbance bucket, and create even more energy. Because at the end of the day, we're going to, that's what this intends to do for you, is help you get where you want to go and go even faster.
Okay, let me put, because I'm typing what you're saying here. Impatience is what happens when you're clicking on all cylinders, but you want to go faster. So what piece is missing from your book in this?
There's nothing missing. We're just looking to now go from the middle of the mountain, which, by the way, if you've never done a study on mediocrity or mediocre, right? The word mediocre means middle of the mountain.
Right.
These are people that are saying, I'm impatient about going from the middle of the mountain to the top of the mountain. So they're not missing necessarily any one of those three things, but they are looking to refine themselves in all three areas.
Good. Spencer, and you know what? There's a whole philosophy, and I've heard it. I forget who I heard it from, but when you're at the top of one mountain, you're really at the bottom of another one. So what's your thoughts on that?
So to quote Tony Robbins one more time, he says, progress is greater than achievement. The reason for that is because achievement, every time you hit one level, there's always another mountain.
Yes.
We shouldn't be going through life looking to constantly chase the next achievement. What we're looking to do in life is consistently make progress.
Yeah. I do love everything that you're saying. I am so in alignment with what you're saying and share the same philosophies that we have this momentum. Let's put this back up. Have this momentum. We know that we're clicking on all cylinders. And today we're talking with Spencer Combs, who's going to talk to us about how we can really achieve mastery and progression in all of these different areas of our lives. So he's the author of Momentum and Mastery. And you can stay connected with him at spencercombs.com. Again, that's Spencer, COMBS, for those that are audio podcast listeners.com, spencercombs.com. We're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to learn more about this artwork, framework, this piece of literature that is really a game changer for any business owner, entrepreneur, mother, male, executive, motivational speaker, as you've mentioned many times. You name it, everybody should be listening to today's broadcast. So we'll be right back, everyone, right after this commercial break. Thank you so much, Spencer.
Hi, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Managing Director of the Charlotte, North Carolina chapter of eWomen Network. I am so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You've just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We're on a mission here to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now is no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you, as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connected through 118 chapters across the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and to check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I'm really looking forward to introducing you to our special community.
All right, everyone, make sure you check out ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. No matter where you are in the country, you can become a part of eWomen Network, and definitely say that Kim Jacobs referred you. And we have our events at the Charlotte Museum of History. Our next one is coming up. It's usually the third Thursday of every month, in case I don't want to timestamp this particular episode, because I may be replaying it many times over. So it's the third Thursday of each month, ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. All right, so now you decided to write this particular book, Momentum and Mastery, the Business Leader's Guide to Fastrack Unshakeable Profit, Productivity, and Purpose. This is very intentional wording, in my opinion. So what makes this project different than any other books that people would read about momentum and growth and business success?
I think you're going to find that most, and you can ask Clarissa, who, by the way, shout out to her. She's been helping me write this book, get this thing done. Been a blessing throughout the whole process. But you're going to find out that intentional is probably one of the most commonly used words for me, right? I'll give you a good example. And I'm not devoid of the question that you just asked me, but let me give you an example of intentionality. This elephant, my logo, is intentional. Right.
Yes.
First of all, when they gave it to me, it was facing the other direction. I said, no, we're about moving forward. I need you to turn it around. Right. And then we chose an elephant because they're matriarchal by nature. I was growing up. Right. So elephants are emotionally intelligent. Right. So understanding how other people are, emotional mastery is not something very common today. Right. So it represents that. It also represents something that I have to do on a regular basis when I go into a business. Talk about the elephant in the room.
Yes.
The stuff people don't want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So I could go on. And people look at something like this big framework and they're like, oh, it's so much, right? Well, how do you eat an elephant? Right.
People say one bite at a time, according to what's said, right? But yeah, I don't know that I really want to eat an elephant, but anyway.
No, I'm not sure that would be very good. But anyway, the point is, oh, by the way, another reason. There's no natural predators. Somebody would think they'd interact with me. They'd think, oh, you should have a lion or something like that. No, elephants, they have no natural predators. So anyway, pressing on. Why would somebody want to read this book versus other books, or what's particularly unique about this? Well, I will say the biggest thing that we're really craving in today's environment is authenticity. The word that I use is congruence. And when mindset, mechanics, and movement are congruent, that's when people explode. And I'm going to say, I said it in the book, but congruent people run the world.
Congruent people run the world.
Think about this for a moment. People you could think of the most, let me ask you, Kim, who comes to your mind when you think of someone who's really been super effective at moving lots of people?
Oh, Les Brown comes to my mind.
Got to be hungry. Okay. Les Brown, super congruent dude.
Yeah.
He's probably the same guy when you meet him, right?
Oh, he is, definitely. And he's not putting on an air when he's out in front of people. He's the exact same way if he's one-on-one with you. He's always talking about you and your greatness and how to pull that out of you and how to not stop being hungry. You have to continue to be hungry and how to not.
You got to say it right. You got to say it right, Kim. It's hungry.
You got to be hungry. Right. Yeah, I can't just say you've got to be hungry. He'll be like, you've totally messed my whole saying up. You've got to be hungry.
Hungry, right. I love that, right? So I will say that there's so many people. Yes, Mr. H, congruence is in line with the word integrity. If you think of people like, let's use, I think I actually mentioned him in the book, Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, yeah.
What he thought, his mindset, what he did, and his mechanics, his methods were all in alignment with each other.
That's right.
That's why he had impact. But this is also true for people with an evil agenda. You could look at somebody like Hitler, super congruent. Whoa, right?
So you say it works on either hand, no matter whether it's for good or for bad. The point is, if they are using it and being intentional with it, it can still yield similar results.
They're going to create results. The bottom denominator here for all these people that you admire and you want to be like and do, or you don't want to do anything like, is that they are super congruent. They have a strong level of integrity about what they think, they do, and how they do it. Right. So
That's
That's
church
what.
too. Let's stop for a second, because that's even in church and ministry and coaches and motivational speakers, people that are out speaking and representing something in particular. You cannot convince. I know I can only speak for me. I'm not worried. I can't talk about anybody else. Kim, I'm sold out for Christ. Period. Okay. So at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter to me whether somebody's trying to convince me to think differently or not. I'm 100% sure that I'm going to heaven. You get what I'm
Mhm.
using as an
Yeah,
example? And
sure.
then somebody
Yeah.
else may be completely opposite of like, let's dissect this. That is not where you're going. How do you know when you're going to be? And they may not be wrong from their perspective and fully convinced.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
my thought.
Well, sometimes people just need to quit overthinking things.
Right.
I will say that the whole concept here, though, about being authentic or having integrity, there are people that you don't like right now. I'll give you an example. Let's use some examples here. I'm gonna avoid political conversations because there's plenty of
I
people.
see you over there. You're like stretching hard. You're like,
Yeah.
"Kim,
No, because
please."
I'm not looking to draw fire for anything foolish because it will lose the point. But it would lose the point, right? But there are people. Let's look at it this way. Haven't we all seen? Let's just take a. I just finished the biography of Rick Ross. Okay,
Mhm.
if you guys know Rick Ross, the dude's a rapper. Okay, but if you
Right.
didn't know his life, you wouldn't know how hard his growing up was and what he did and how he did to get where he's at. You could take. We all know these rappers and stars out here that are big time. We don't like what they do necessarily, but we respect where they're at, and because they don't make any bones about it. Look at
Right.
somebody like Dave Chappelle. A
Mhm.
lot of people don't like him, but then again, he's up here. People are respecting him. Why? Because there's no there's he's strong integrity, right?
Mhm.
Super congruent about who he thinks and what he thinks and what he does.
Right.
We don't have to agree with it, but that's
Right.
why he's getting the result.
That's right. Those are good examples. The very good examples, because you don't know their backstories. You don't know what they've had to overcome again to become who they even are at this phase of their lives in the season that they're in.
Yeah.
So this is
Uh,
really good.
we did,
Clarissa said, "Hey, go ahead, Reverend Spencer. Go ahead and preach. Go ahead and."
my favorite story with that with the preaching thing is I used to go and teach. Used to go to nursing homes. I'll make it a short story, but I went to nursing homes and used to preach. And there was this one room at this nursing home where there was probably 30 people in the room, and they were all
Mhm.
lined up around this outside. There was this one elderly lady that had a cane, and she would constantly run that room. Like she would point at people and tell, "Don't you touch her. I'll be on you like a duck on water." Like she'd say stuff like that. And she loved me and I loved being around her. But there was one particular Sunday I got up and started to preach, and she pointed that cane at me. And I remember looking at her, and she goes, and I'm thinking, "Oh Lord, what have I done?"
Right.
She points it at me and she goes, "Ride that pulpit, son.
She said, "What?"
Ride that pulpit, son."
So she was giving you an endorsement point at that
Oh,
point. She's like,
she
"You got it,
was
baby.
loving
Go
it.
ahead and
She
do
was
it."
loving it. So anytime I see somebody talk about go ahead and preach it and whatever, I've been to some tent meetings before. We've had some fun before. But anyway, back on track. I didn't mean to.
But this is good. Okay, so you talk about being on track. Let's talk about track for a minute. You said it's a difference between drifting and driving. So talk to us about how you drift to drive in this framework that you've created.
Yeah. So the drift to drive framework, and really to help everybody understand, the reason why I use the word framework is because everybody's coming from different perspectives. Everybody has different pieces so I give you the framework, and then you bring yourself to it, and you'll see things change for you. So that's why we call it a framework. I don't want to give anybody the idea that I'm going to give you everything. I'm just going to give you the framework, and if you follow the process, you're going to end up getting where you want to go. It's kind of like if I gave you the recipe, right? I don't know what the quality of the ingredients you're going to put into it.
Right. That's good.
Right? So that's why we call it that's why we discuss it as a formula or framework. So the momentum side of it is the drift to drive framework. We all get into a drift. We all do. Matter of fact, our brains crave sameness. We're looking for consistency. We don't right. the science word would be homeostasis. We're looking for everything just to be okay. And so we're always fighting for that.
Yes.
The
Yes.
problem is that we also have this deep inside desire to do way more.
That's correct.
And so there's this gap between our drift and our mastery, like where we really want to be or what we want to do or how to progress. And so we have to get ourselves from drift and get ourselves in a position of drive.
Love it.
So to do that, we've basically come up with about 4 critical factors.
Okay.
And the way I like to describe the 4 factors of drive, it's like a battery with 4 cells in it, right? So if you know your car battery, it has multiple cells. If you ever have one cell go out, it doesn't have the juice it's supposed to. You need all 4 cells. So if you want to create the level of energy and create drive, you're going to have to constantly feed all 4 of these cells.
Okay. Tell us what they are.
Those 4 cells. Let's start. And I do it in this particular order because when you do it this way, and this is how we do it in our events. I got an event, by the way, Kim. I don't know if you'd like to come and visit, but I got one in Columbia, South Carolina. It's like an hour and a half from you.
Okay. And we want to know the details because a lot of people may want to come. So Columbia, South Carolina. And
Columbia, South Carolina, August the 23rd. If you go to spencercombs.com/UWE, it's there.
UWE?
Yep. Unshakeable Weekend Event.
Okay.
I didn't intend to go through all that, but I would, hey, y'all want to be there. I would love to have as many people. Well, I can only put so many in the room, but anyway, spencercombs.com/UWE. You can meet me. You can actually meet Clarissa. You could have, because she's going to be there. We're going to have a good time in there. But the first thing we have to do is help people get into drive. And so we go through this process and go through all 4 of these 4 critical factors, right?
Okay.
Critical factor number 1.
Well, I'm still typing. Wait a minute, I'm still typing the other event. So spencercombs.com/UWE, and it's an event in Columbia, South Carolina on August 23rd,
4th, and 5th. It's the weekend.
Through the 25th. Okay. And I'm going to pop that right here. And you all that are watching today, make sure you let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way, okay? It's an event that's in Columbia, South Carolina, and that is going to be spencercombs.com/UWE. And if you're anywhere in the Columbia, South Carolina or surrounding areas, make sure you make your way to this event on August 23rd through the 25th. And you're going to be learning from Spencer Combs. All right.
I would love to have all of you come there. And we are planning to bring this in other areas. So if anybody's interested or got a space, let's have a conversation. You can message me. Just go to spencercombs.com. Anyway.
So number 1, how do you drive? Number
one is dream. What is such an overused conversation. But the truth is that sometimes we're in a constant state of desperation. We have a hard time dreaming. But what I know is that if you don't constantly feed yourself different perspectives, a different way, a bigger way, a broader way, a deeper way to go through life, you're never going to really you're always going to have a very myopic experience of life. This is why if you're feeling like you're completely restricted right now and you're not really getting where you want to go, maybe go look at some really expensive houses. If you can't get there, look at them online. What's the lifestyle of people like you that's a lifestyle you would want to have? And, for some people, it's one thing. For others, it's another. I will tell you that when I was in Europe last summer. I was in France, in Cannes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking around the Riviera, and I'm looking at these dudes riding around Ferraris, right? Mercedes. These yachts out here, the yachts there are not just yachts. They have helipads on them, like helicopters land on these things. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother world.
Right.
Right. Every morning I'm out walking. I'm literally less than I'm a half a mile away from $1 million homes. When I say million, I'm talking multiple $1 million homes because they're sitting on the river, right? Walk by them. I look at them and I'm like, I love this. What's different between them? But it expands your ability to think outside of where you currently are.
Right.
It introduces the discussion of possibility. See, when you are in full drive mode, we go from possible to probable.
Good.
That'll tweet.
Somebody type that. Go from possible to probable. Now I'm over
When
here
we go
trying
from
to type
drift
in.
to drive, we're going from possible to probable, right? So the first thing we have to do though is we have to get a dream. We have to start thinking differently. And most of us think about dreaming like it's some frou-frou thing that's just out there going out there, right? Dreaming is a critical factor. You have to see it differently than what you're seeing it as right now.
I agree. Yes, yes.
You might be right now living in absolute poverty, having the absolute worst life of ever. There are people right now down the street from you that are dropping thousands of dollars on just a meal.
Right.
It's not that it's not possible. It's just it's not possible for you yet.
Yet.
So
that is the key word. Yet.
We have to begin with a dream. What does that look like? The second factor is a desire. Now, a lot of people don't want to do the dreaming because they know that if I started looking at this stuff, I'm going to start wanting it.
That's right. Right.
And I have resolved to the fact that I'm not ever going to have that. That's a belief, right? But if you don't know what actually drives you, you're going to have a hard time moving forward.
That's right.
What we talk about in the book is making the distinction between end goals and means goals. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because it has to do with values. People don't want $1 million because they want a stack of paper with dead people's pictures on them.
Right.
They want what that money is going to do for them.
That's right.
So when we talk about desire, we're talking about breaking it down and clarifying what is it that gives me? What's the value that I'm really after here? Is it would it increase my connection? Would it increase my significance in the world? Would it increase my level of certainty? Would it increase my freedom? What is it that particular thing is giving me? You need to be able to unpack what you want and why you want it.
That's good.
You're never going to get into the situation where you think the juice is worth the squeeze until you clarify that when I get this thing, I get this feeling.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I typed what you just said, and I'm loving it. Desire is breaking down the value that you are after from that particular thing that you desire. So what's the feeling going to be after you get that? You know what? I feel like I read a lot of books, and I have my children are avid readers as well. But I feel like when I bring people on the show like you, I'm hearing an audible book, and I'm actually meeting the author. So I am so enamored by this. I'm so excited to have you here.
I love it. I love it. That's the point.
So, desire. Yeah.
You know, we actually, when I started working with Clarissa, I said we were just going to do drive. We were just going to do focus on the one piece of this, right? The movement portion. And then later on, I said, you know what? I just need to zoom out and let's do the whole thing. And then we'll do subsequent books with a breakdown of all those other things. Because what I've learned, we keep unpacking it. And the more I keep talking about it, the more it becomes alive in a way, in sense that it keeps unpacking itself. This is not something that I had beer and pizza one night and had a dream and said, let's make this unshakable framework. This stuff came through years of conversation through a lot of different things. And this whole 4-factor came from me working with people who just, right? I don't want to do it. Well, the reason why you don't want to do it is because you don't have a reason to do it.
That's why you don't have a drive to do it.
Exactly. So how do we manufacture
a young man
that?
named Spencer Combs. He said, if you don't have the drive, you're going to just drift.
There you go.
Okay, number three.
You can, but the fun part about this is you can manufacture it. And maybe you don't have intentions to go out here and have a $10 million home on the water, right? Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you just want to, you want to go and impact the world, and you want to be able to, next time your church asks you for some sort of a financial thing, that you don't want to feel embarrassed because all you can do is $100. Maybe next time you want to be able to put up $100,000. I don't know what moves you, but you need to know. You need to know.
That definitely moves me, because I believe that I'm one of the millionaires that the bishop, where I attend the church, often talks about. I know that there are some millionaires in this building, and I literally know that I'm one of them, you know? So I'm like, I don't want to be like, me, when he's saying it. I do that literally.
Yeah. But you have to know the desire. You need to understand what drives you, right? The third factor is where people see, if you started dreaming and you started creating a desire for all this stuff, you're going to naturally fall into the third factor, which is disturbance.
Disturbance. Okay.
Disturbance. You get disturbed. The reason for that, your brain, anytime you give it some sort of a new goal or an interest or a desire, it comes back with two pieces of information: how to get there, and two, what's in the way.
So when you give your brain a new goal.
Well, anytime you give your brain a new outcome that you're looking at, or an interest or desire, it's going to kick back how to do that or what's in the way. You don't have the resources. You don't have this. You've never been that kind of person. I'm not, you don't come from that kind of family. You don't do, right? We could go on and on with this. I'm going to say BS to be friendly on this call, right? That could just refer to belief systems, right?
Right,
but that's,
right.
This is what starts cropping up. What I need everybody to understand is that that disturbance is required. It's not something to avoid. Think about this for a moment.
Good.
I heard on a different podcast, I'm trying to remember the name, Arthur C. Brooks, maybe, professor of happiness kind of thing in Harvard.
Okay.
He's talking about that back in the 60s, the mantra was, if it feels good, do it.
Right.
And of course, everybody, there was a big pushback against it, but that was the big, if it feels good, go do it. Well, nowadays, he says, that's not the mantra. Nowadays, if it feels bad, numb it, get rid of it, stop it, get away from it.
That's true. That's what people think.
If you want to get driven, you're going to have to step into what disturbs you.
Okay.
Use it for fuel, right? So my second grade teacher told me that I wouldn't be, that I needed to learn how to talk right. Look at me now, Mrs. Sneed. I'm on the Kim Jacobs show.
I knew you were going to say her name.
Look, I'm telling you, there are things in your life that have bothered you. Don't package that and put it away. Use it for fuel.
That's right.
If you're not where you think you need to be, use it for fuel. You don't like what you have, use it for fuel. I could go on and on with this. I think you get the point.
Spencer, okay, I might call you Reverend Spencer because you are preaching and you know you are. You know you preach it over there. You know it. Okay, come on. What else? So now, first of all, you said three things. Let's go back and look at what you said. There's the frustrated group. Wait, I want to go all the way back.
Hold on. Let's not go all the way back.
Yeah,
you're talking about the 4 factors. 4 factors are dream.
Oh, wait.
Desire.
Oh, I didn't save all of them. Give me a second. I want to go back and get to what you said. The dream, the desire. Okay. So I want to go back. So when you say them, it makes sense to everybody that's just tuning in. So number one is dream.
Number 2 is desire.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is disturbance. And if you're feeling disturbed right now, guys, you're in a good spot. Because nothing ever happens until a threshold moment happens.
That's right.
There are 3 criteria that has to happen for you to get into the next one, which is decision. Number 4 is a decision.
Decision is number 4.
Decision. But you're probably never going to really get good at making decisions until you learn how to get through the disturbance enough to create a threshold. Threshold moments are characterized by 3 things happening all at once. It must be done. I'm the only one that can get it done. And it must be done now. If all 3 of those things aren't colliding, you're going to have an interest. You're going to have a decision that's kind of like I wish, but it's not a full-on commitment. It's a commitment level of decision, cutting off all other options.
That's good. And let me say this too, Spencer, because everything that you're saying, it goes in alignment with not just your business life, but your personal life, because there are some things I know personally that I just revealed, and I was talking to my bishop about them, and everything that you're saying here, it goes in alignment with that. It is decision time, and because it's decision time, things have to be done now. period. And there's no stopping me. Now that I've had that nagging feeling and I've been dealing with how God is dealing with me in certain regards, it has to be done. Now, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Decision time.
What's amazing though is I think a lot of people they look at that decision discussion and they know it needs to be done, and they know that it needs to be done now. But I think a lot of people in society today are waiting for someone else to come and do it for them or save them. They won't.
That's it.
That third factor of I have to do this is the one that's stopping a lot of people. It's not because they either don't believe they can, they don't believe they have the resources. Let me just throw this at you guys. It's not about resources. It's about resourcefulness.
Resourcefulness.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Okay, I think I'm doing all the typing over here, but not about resources. And I hope I'm not misspelling anything. It is about resourcefulness. Resourcefulness. That's good. And these are all quotes from Spencer Combs, our guest here today, who's teaching us significant.
The resource and resourcefulness thing is a derivative of something I heard from Tony. So I will tell you that, but it's a derivative.
I'm not retyping it, so you can give shout out.
It's all right, but I'm just telling you that that's I hear things. I have so many people that have poured into me over the last 20 years and more that at this point it just starts all blending together. But here's what I know. If you can activate all four of those and get your battery charged up enough, you're going to feel like you're going to have a strong sense of drive, regardless of what's going on in your life.
Right.
Which puts you at the doorstep of mastery, right? All of this stuff is all about getting you into momentum. The mastery side of this whole thing, which is in the book, is it goes into 5 building blocks. I'm going to touch on them real fast because I know we only have like 3 minutes.
Okay. So 5 building blocks. Come on. Purpose.
Actually, I'm going to do it backwards. At the top of the whole thing, everybody's looking for progress. We want to grow. We want to progress. I'm looking for progress. Well, progress is it requires performance. We have to do things. And at a high level. Well, to perform at the highest level, you have to learn how to step into your power. And to step into your power, you're going to need to be able to know what your priorities are. What am I working on? What am I not working on? What's the most important things, right?
Yeah.
And before I can get any kind of level of priorities, I have to understand the purpose. Okay. There's a mindset and a mechanics to all 5 of these building blocks. So like with purpose, it's a mindset of commitment. It's the mechanics of outcomes.
Oh, yeah. So
there's a whole diagram of this in the book, right?
By the way, everything is in the book.
Yeah, you can go to momentumandmastery.com and you can do it right now. I'm kind of holding off pushing that real hard because it's going to come out on the launch of the event, August the 23rd, the print version. I want to get the digital version squared away. Clarissa and I are almost done with that. But you can go there, and if you register and get the book for free, you just got to pay for shipping. When you do that, I will send you a digital version of it if you do.
So all you have to do is go to spencercombs.com, and you will be able to get a digital version. Is that what you're saying?
If you go to momentumandmastery.com, you can. Yeah, it's kind of a hidden site right now. This kind of broke free on the Kim Jacobs show.
Oh, wait. So this is all new information, breaking news, everybody. Momentum. Let me type
and mastery. Momentumandmastery.com. Don't hate me, Clarissa.
Mastery.com. So that's where they can get the ebook?
That's where they can get the. Actually, what happens is if they order the book there, I will send them a copy of the ebook, and then the printed version won't come out until it's printed, which is later on in August. So they'll get both.
I'm just gonna put this up here, and then you can tell people instructions because I want to make sure I don't want to say the wrong thing. So let me go right here.
If you want a copy of the book, go to momentumandmastery.com. We'll send you a copy. You just won't get the print version until later on in the month.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're gonna send them the book electronically?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Y'all listen. I'm going there right now. So I'm about to get off the show. Commercial break. Listen, momentumandmastery.com. You're going to get an electronic version of the book right away. So you don't want to miss that. Who in the studio audience wants to receive a copy of this book? Put it over in the comment section that I want my copy. I want my copy. Say something so people know that you were planning to get your copy, or hey, I just went and got my copy. Momentumandmastery.com. Put it over in the comment section if you know that you're going to be getting a copy today. And even if you're watching the replay, make sure you go over to momentumandmastery.com, get your copy electronically, and also be prepared for the launch that's coming out, where you'll be able to get a paperback or hard copy version of the book. All right.
Beautiful.
Wow. And the event that's happening again is happening in Columbia. Tell them again one more time about that.
That is a 3-day immersion event. So if you want to disappear for 3 days and really work on yourself and clarify what you really want, why you want it, and then build out a full plan and have a breakthrough process, this can be a very strong activation moment for anyone that comes. So yeah, it's Friday, starts at 12 o'clock, ends around 2 o'clock on a Sunday, goes from August the 23rd through the 25th. We are going to do this in different locations. This is really what I want to be doing in a lot of places, because I have learned that reading books and listening to podcasts and doing that kind of thing is great, but until someone has an experience, right? You could witness and tell others about the Lord all day long, but until they actually have an experience, they never really understand what's happening. So it's the same thing here. Same thing.
I love it. I love it. And I see all of your comments that's coming in. Make sure you all put whatever comments, and definitely Spencer will be able to check them out later as well. But we welcome you to go to momentumandmastery.com right away to get your copy of the book electronically. You cannot, no, I'm serious. I don't want to say no guest has done that, but I can tell you that is a tremendous blessing to you and your business right away. I see you out here, William Turner. I see you, Malaysia, Harrell. I see you, Coach Jim Foster. I see all of you. I'm trying to make sure I acknowledge you. Jay Mattier, Shirley Patterson, Transform Your Life Today with Lori J, Eileen Gerald, Jamie Kerr, all of you guys. I see all of you all because I see y'all on different platforms, and I thank you all for tuning in today, and don't want to miss anybody, but I really appreciate you all being here today. Yes, even Yahshua said it was all about in-person connections and teachings. Yes, yes. Oh, okay. I think we went through a lot, but one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about is this lovely crew right here, and I definitely am not getting off without us hearing about this beautiful crew. So tell us who they are in your life.
All right. So on the far right is my wife, Amy, with our granddaughter in front of her, Nevaeh. And then you've got Olivia, Summer, and Hannah. Those are our 3 daughters, and my granddaughter. So yeah, that was taken about a year ago. Yep.
That's beautiful, beautiful
My little
family.
crew.
And I can see why you're so happy, and lots of smiles on your face. And then even another one on the way, a grandchild on the way.
Yep. My oldest.
Boy or girl,
oldest,
they're going to find out.
Yep. Yep. My oldest is bringing us another one. So here we go.
So you're a proud, proud grandfather to be here.
Oh, yeah. I'm that fool that showed up at Bojangles the day after and asked for a senior discount, and they told me no.
They're like, poor guy. They're like, no. That's so funny. All right, so let's see. I think we've covered as much as we can cover in an hour, and I've truly enjoyed our time together. Is there anything else that you wanted viewers to know that you maybe didn't get a chance to say in today's discussion?
I did throw it in one of the chats. If anyone wants like a daily text, you can text me at 904 299 1877. Monday through Friday, early morning sometime, I will send some sort of a text. So it's usually a momentum and mastery discussion. We do a lot of business conversations too, but you get 904-299-1877. I need you to tell me your name. I can't just send, you can't send me a text. I need your name, your first and last name, and that you want to be on the daily text. I'll be happy to put you in on that. And that way you can get your daily dose.
So everybody just take a quick moment right now. Sometimes when you do things right then, I believe in working sessions, because believe it or not, at the end of the day, when you get done with something, you go on and you're like, oh man, I forgot, I really wanted to do it. So I want to do it. So right now, everybody take a quick 30 seconds and do that. That's 904-299-1877. And you're going to text your name, right?
Yep. The first and last name.
Your first and last name. And then you will be a part of this daily text messages that come out. So take a moment and do that. And then also take a moment and go to, because this offer is not an offer that happens a lot for most speakers and authors ever. So take a moment and go to momentumandmastery.com. Momentum and Mastery, all spelled out, and Mastery.
Yep.
.com. And when you go there, let's see.
We spent a great deal of time focused on the momentum side of this a lot. We didn't get a chance to really take the mystery out of mastery today.
Oh, okay. Well, how do we get our book? How do we get the book? You have to do
Momentum and Mastery. Just click on the thing that says, one of those buttons that tell you you can get it, and then you got to go order it.
Oh, pre-order your free book now. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so
you still have to pay for the shipping. I got to get it to you.
Right.
But I will send you I'll send you the electronic version once I get that finished up in the next day or two here.
Okay, so Momentum and Mastery, and I love the website, by the way, .com, and I will show you all that briefly. I just want to show you what website. I'm a visual person, so I'd rather you get a visual of what you're seeing. Oh, no. Okay. Momentum and Mastery.com, right? Momentum. MOMENTUM and
ANDMASTREY. Mastery, ERY, excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here because on my phone it worked perfectly. Did I say, is this wrong? What I typed in here? Momentum?
No, it's not wrong.
Okay.
What you may have to do is put the www in front of it.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to show you all Momentum.
It went there for me.
And Mastery, because it's a beautiful website, mastery.com. Yeah, there it is. And I just want to show you all what you're going to see in case you hadn't gone over there right while you're watching the show. I'll pull it in and just give you a beautiful overview here of what it looks like. You don't want to miss this opportunity you can claim your free copy of the book. And here you are. So when you go over to momentumandmastery.com, which you do need to put www.momentumandmastery.com, you'll be able to see this beautifully done website and also be able to order your free ebook and only have to take care of the shipping and handling. Okay. And you'll get a copy of this book, which is going to help you with a lot of different skills as a business owner, business entrepreneur, and even in your personal life. And then you also get a chance to connect with Mr. Combs at the official event in Columbia, South Carolina, if you're able to attend. All right. So I just wanted to let you know that now mastery. Say something in a nutshell about mastery because we didn't get to talk a lot about it, or you can come back and do part 2 just about mastery, whatever way you want.
We can do a part 2, but I will tell you that we were beginning to talk about it because we talked about the 5 building blocks, but there's a mindset and a mechanics to all 5 of those blocks, right? So very quickly, the mindset and mechanics for purpose is commitment and outcomes, right? So when there's a commitment to the outcome, we have a purpose. And then with priorities, you have to have a focus, a mindset of focus, and a mechanics of a plan. Standards is another way of looking at it. So until you have a focus on the plan, you're not going to have priorities. And then if you want to step into your power, you have to have a mindset of accountability with the mechanics of resources, resource management, right? And when you're accountable for resources, you step into your power. The 4th block is going to be performance. So the mindset of performance is beliefs, specifically beliefs of excellence, faith versus fear, right? That whole discussion. And then the mechanics of that is systems or rhythms. So when you believe in your systems or believe in your behavior, you will create a much higher level of performance. And then with the mastery at the top end of that with progress, you must be flexible, have a mindset of flexibility with the mechanics of feedback. Unless you're flexible in your feedback, you're not going to really make any kind of progress. You may stall out with just all the performance, but you're never going to get further than that.
Wow. I mean, I think we couldn't have crammed in any more than what we did in this hour. if you don't leave refreshed, revitalized, ready to have some momentum and some mastery in your life and your business, it is definitely not Spencer Combs' fault at all. We take the blame ourselves in that case. So listen, make sure you all apply what you've learned today. You can stay connected with Spencer Combs at www.spencercombs.com. And you can also take a moment and please partner with the Kim Jacobs Show by providing some level of contribution to our broadcast. We get a chance to go live Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The only way we can do this type of programming is if community members like yourself pour into the program. So you can do that through $Kim Jacobs Inc. You can go to paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. or Venmo at the Kim Jacobs Show. You can even Zelle 704-962-7161. And you can also join our membership programs, motherdreamer.com/join or patreon.com/the Kim Jacobs Show. So screenshot that and please make sure you send a contribution and we'll do a nice shout out for you, thanking you for being one of our partners. All right. Do you have any closing comment, Spencer?
Only thing I'm going to do is tell people to stop settling and keep moving forward.
Stop settling and keep moving forward. Get that momentum and master it through progression, you guys. And we will see you all here again on the Kim Jacobs Show, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Spencer. You are an amazing guest. Thank you, Pastor Clarissa, for referring him. And thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. I absolutely love you all as we bring balance to the world, one household at a time. Have a great one, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference. And I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you.